Okay, thank you. I'm on cue. Hello, everyone. We are broadcasting from Lu Mountain Temple tonight. Thank you all for coming and joining us. All right, we're going to continue listening to Master YongHua's teachings during the Chanchi. So we play a tape until that's jump right into it. Unless anyone has a questions. Okay, good.
在这个青州登岸，登岸呢，这时候这个九摩罗什法师正在长安，他就要到长安去见九摩罗什法师。
He disembarked in Qingzhou. At that time, Dharma Master Kumarajiva was in Chang'an. He then went to Chang'an to visit Dharma Master Kumarajiva.
九摩罗什法师一看见他，就非常的欢喜，说：“哎呀，你可来了！我这现在正需要你帮助。”
Once Dharma Master Kumarajiva saw him, he was very happy and said, "Ayya, you came at last. You came at last. I could use your help here right now."
两个人呢就研究这个翻译的工作。九摩罗什法师有什么疑难的问题，有什么不？
The two of them then investigated this translation work. Whenever Dharma Master Kumarajiva encountered any difficulty,
明白的地方就都请问他，请问这位角贤法师。
or had anything he didn't understand, he would ask Dharma Master Jeshen.
然后有一天，这个角贤法师就说你翻译的这个经典，看起来很普通，没有什么很特别的。
One day, Dharma Master Jeshen said, "The sutras you translated seem common, nothing special."
为什么呢？你名誉这么高啊？一般人对你这么印象这么好。
Why is your reputation so high? Why do ordinary people have such a good impression about you?
九摩罗什法师说：“因为我年纪老的关系，年纪大。”
Dharma Master Kumarajiva said, "Oh, this is probably because of my old age. Old age."
昨天讲的这位角贤法师，他帮助九摩罗什法师翻译经典。
Yesterday, we talked about this Dharma Master Jeshen, who helped Dharma Master Kumarajiva translating sutras.
九摩罗什法师所不明白的道理，就要请问这位角贤法师来帮助他。
The principles Dharma Master Kumarajiva didn't understand, he would ask Dharma Master Jeshen for help.
有什么这个疑难的问题，他也向他来请教。那么翻译经典是很有帮助。
Oh, I forgot. You're supposed to kiss my hand. Thank you.
Whenever he had any difficulty, he would consult him. He was very helpful in translating sutras.
古来的人自己不明白的道理，不是说就说我不明白，我也不问人。
When the Asians had principles they don't understand, they wouldn't be like, I don't understand, but I won't ask others neither.
我一问人呢，就好像没有面子，没有这种心理。他自己不明白，就请问其他的人。
When I ask others, I lose face. They don't have such mindset. When they don't understand, they would ask the others.
鸠摩罗什法师，他的聪明智慧本来已经很高的，但是他还要请教这位小贤法师。
Dharma Master Kumarajiva's smarts and wisdom was already very high, but he still consulted with this Dharma Master Jue Xian. 在这个时候，这个瑶琴时候，这个太叫姚红。 Then at that time in Yaoqing dynasty, the prince was Yao Hong.
这个姚红啊，听见这个角贤法师是辩才无碍，智慧无量。
This Yao Hong heard this Dharma Master Jue Xian was eloquent and had limitless wisdom.
他就想听这位角贤法师来给他说法。
Then he wanted to listen to this Dharma Master Jue Xian, wanted him to speak Dharma for him.
Okay, stop. So we are hearing about how this eminent monk by the name of Jue Xian, who, prior sections, from the prior sections, we know that he certified to sagehood, meaning in Buddhism, you certify as sagehood because you develop real wisdom. Okay, and it's certified by someone who also has wisdom. What happens in Buddhism is that unlike cheap salespeople like us, we can sell you anything, but at the higher levels of the true authentic teachers, they're all certified. So they recognize each other. That's a fact. So that's why when there's this Jue Xian here, certified to third stage Arhat, okay, which I feel is probably not correct. considering his wisdom is so high. Because later he went from India, well, Indo-China, Indo-Vietnam. Last night you talked about Indo-China because I think it's a patch of the land between India and China. So back then they couldn't decide, is it India? Is it China? So they decided to combine it, turn it into Indo-China. So that's later became Vietnam, the center of the universe. But anyway, just my opinion. So anyway, this monk here was certified to third stage Arhat, which in Mahayana is very low, okay? Too low to really be able to understand the Dharma. Because later on he went from Indochina to China, okay, and helped the translation. The master Kumarajiva, who was also an Indian monk, who was invited from India to China by the emperor. He had to send an entire army to bring the master Kumarajiva from a country in India back to China. And he basically invaded the country, took over the country, held the king ransom and said, "You're going to give me your national treasure or not? If not, I kill you." And so the king had no choice but relinquish Master Kumarajiva. And so that's how Kumarajiva was brought back to China. So Master Kumarajiva was really famous in Chinese Buddhism, Chinese Mahayana, because it's his most outstanding translation work. Okay, he translated and set the standards for translation from the Indian language Sanskrit into the Chinese language, and his works are so widely used, admired, and memorized, and so forth. So this Kumarajiva is so famous, and he's really a bodhisattva, meaning a truly enlightened person. You see, so that's how. That's why he was entrusted with the task of translating the important sutras from Sanskrit into Chinese in order to transfer the Indian wisdom, the Buddhist Indian wisdom, the Indian Buddhist wisdom to China. So you need to send. They had to send a very accomplished monk to go to China to do the work. So he spoke both languages, Indian and China. Is it Indian or Hindu? Sanskrit and Chinese. And it's a humongous work because the Chinese Buddhism, the Indian Buddhism is huge. The scriptures are humongous, so they had to. Kumarajiva was translating the Buddhist sutras in China under the protection and support of the Chinese emperor himself. Okay, back then, unlike nowadays, okay, the great monks are recognized national treasures. The closest thing that we have it nowadays to that is you still have to go to Japan and they designate certain craftsmen as national treasure. Okay, so I believe in Korea you have the similar kind of thing as well. You recognize the Koreans recognize some of the sculptors as national treasures or something like that, huh? Like the best in the country, okay? So anyway, back then the real asset, the country, was recognized as superior wisdom. Okay, so the country invested in its future and the welfare of its people by bringing in, importing the wisdom, the best wisdom there was. So that's what we need to learn from that wisdom. Nowadays, we are truly neglecting the education system. Okay, and we really don't look at knowledge as that important anymore. So that's why the other countries are sending the people here to this country and have enticements to bring those graduates back, and then at the same time steal our intellectual properties as well. You see, and so in China back then, the emperor recognized the importance of the superior wisdom. Okay, and that's why he entrusted this translation of the highest level Indian wisdom to Chinese under Kumarajiva. So Kumarajiva, Venerable Kumarajiva, was in charge of 3,000 monks or more back then to do translation. And the emperor gave him a humongous temple. Okay, it was so big that supposedly at night they had to close the front gate. In order to go close the front gate, a monk, I believe, was a monk, not a nun, hopped on a horse and galloped. It's not true. Monks cannot ride horses, but I like to imagine an Arabian riding. He rode his horse to the front gate just to close the front gate. That's how big the temple was. Okay? And imagine having to cook food for 3,000 monks for lunch and breakfast. Huh? Can you imagine? You think you can handle it? Can you imagine how much it would cost in terms of food? Huh? We have to raise the rates, if that's the case. Yes, sir. You have a question, White?
Yes, Master, thank you. Early days of translating the sutras that were in India, were they not first translated there? Didn't Chinese arhats and masters go there first, and then brought back their own scripted sutras, and then copying.
Right.
Is that how they did it?
Yes. It wasn't the first time that the Sanskrit Buddhist scriptures were translated into Chinese. It happened way before that, because some texts were available, and so they were translated into Chinese, but not the major texts. Okay. What Master Kumarajiva translated was the most important, the most profound Buddhist scriptures in terms of Avatamsaka Sutra, in terms of Shrangama, is it Shrangama Sutra? I don't remember. Dharma Flower Sutra, Prasana Sutra. You need to learn that. That's a Buddhist wisdom on how to become enlightened. Okay, how to develop true wisdom. It's a humongous set of teachings from the Buddha himself. So it's highly revered. Okay, so that it happened. But what happened is that Kumarajiva was the one that was in charge of translating a bulk of the most major works in Buddhism. Before that, it's a smaller translation and not very good quality, by the way. It's typical. It's very typical. Same thing here in this country. We have English translation from a Chinese, from the great scholars from Harvard University by the name, what's his name again? In the early days, I had to read him. Not Blofeld. Professors. Now his son is picking up the mantle. Anyway, so until Master Hsuan came along and taught his people how to translate and set new standard for translation, and you read the works, the comparison, and then you compare the translation work of the scholars, the known scholars, well-known scholars versus our translation, it's like night and day. Yeah. Yes, Green.
The Golden Temple in India feed about 100,000 people every day, all by volunteer.
Yeah, but they only ate beans.
Oh no, they have all kind of food.
Okay. But
So
how?
it's doable.
It's doable. How did they do that? I can't imagine feeding
They have
100,000
pot.
people.
And then the thing to make the bread is they have huge oven, and then everything is that.
Okay. Good thing I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. YouTube comment.
Elta D looked up Indochina on Wikipedia, and Indochina was also called French Indochina or French Indochine Française, and it encompassed the three countries of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. It was formerly associated with France, and first within its empire, and later within the French Union.
Very good. Thereby, he just confirmed that Vietnam was the center of the universe. Okay, anyone else? Okay, very good. And so let me get to the point. So these people who were doing the translation, their wisdom, they need to have a certain level of wisdom before they were good enough to do a translation. Okay? Well, that's why Master Jue Xian, when he first saw Kumarajiva was so happy to see him because he could immediately recognize that Jue Xian was qualified, had wisdom. So I doubt that Jue Xian is only third stage Arhat, because at Kumarajiva's level, he doesn't think much of third stage Arhats, I believe. Okay, he says, you are, what are you doing here? The kitchen the other way, you know. Yes, sir. Orange.
Master, what level we can consider we are Pratyeka Buddhas? That would be like Arhat level, like stage 4?
Pratyeka Buddhas is slightly higher level than Arhats, but basically 4-stage Arhats. Okay, it's kind of, it's pretty good. Okay, but we refuse to teach you the Pratyeka Buddha Dharma because Arhats are bad enough. You don't need to go into that path. Okay. Anyway. All right. Where were we? Hello, princess. Okay. Full house tonight. I don't feel like talking anymore. Any questions or comments? So the translation back then from a Chinese canon, from a Indian canon, Sanskrit canon into Chinese is considered a monumental task, and that's very, very very high priority. And that's why we have to look at how difficult it was for Master Hsuan to do the translation from Chinese into English and set such high standards. So my gut feeling is that he had a lot of help. A lot of his disciples are actually pretty high level themselves. That's why they did an outstanding work. Okay, up to a certain point. Yes, White.
Sir, I heard that it wasn't until about 1930 that Buddhist sutras in China were translated to English. Is that true?
I don't know about 1930s, but I heard of you heard of Dr. Suzuki, Chinese guy. I mean, or is it Vietnamese? No, it's probably Japanese. Did you know Vietnam also? Never mind. Dr. Suzuki was very famous for the fact that he translated a lot of Chinese Buddhist texts from, I believe, the Chinese canon, the Japanese canon. Japanese canon is primarily Chinese characters, as far as I know, into English. Okay, and in particular, he became famous not for the canon, for the translation work, but he became famous for his translation of the Zen teachings. Okay, and clearly, he's nowadays we look at the translation work. It's actually not good enough. Okay, so the standards have been raised, the bar has been raised at such a level from Master Hsuan translation work. It's just out of sight compared to Suzuki's, Dr. Suzuki's. Yeah, and you go back. You guys, any of you here, go back to take a look at Dr. Suzuki's Zen translation. It's really very confusing. The guy doesn't know anything, doesn't understand anything. He meditates, of course, but okay. So in general, for the translation work to occur, it's not atypical for the people wisdom to come and in order to carry out the translation work, because it affects many generations, the development of many generations. Okay, so anyway, I thought the translation work from my masters into English is really remarkable. Okay, you have to give him credit for that. It provides a sound foundation for Mahayana in English. Very sound foundation. Okay, the translation work itself is very high quality, very high quality. I highly recommend it. If you want to learn about Mahayana, do not read anything. Start with that text, those texts. Anything you read would be the very high standards. And after that, and you find yourself drifting into other stuff, and you cannot see that the rest really pales, all the other translation work pales in comparison. And I advise you to switch to Catholicism. Okay? Because Buddhism is not for you. I'm kidding. Anything else? So, not only Master Kumarajiva recognized Jie Xian, but also the emperor heard of his reputation as well. So these people are really superior individuals. Yeah, just like you can imagine that Master Kumarajiva's temples was the meeting place of all these great eminent monks and great minds. Not just monks, they also have lay people to help with the embellishment of Chinese language. It's a fantastic place. Probably the top-notch place where if you want to go learn Buddhism, that's where you go. Okay? Is there a question there, sir? White.
Thank you, Master. So I have a question from 2 lectures ago. We talked about how practicing Mahayana means that not fearing taking pain and suffering from others. So my question is, since I'm going to fail repeatedly when I do that, what kind of safety net can I create for myself before I do this? Is it, do you think it makes sense to create a safety net? So, for instance, when I fail, it wouldn't be so bad that I would fall into the hells like that.
That's a real good question. We never thought of it. How come we've been doing this for 25 years? Never thought of it. It's a reasonable question. Anyone has any ideas? I'm sure that the Republican yogi.
Master, I think it's okay to fail and go down to the hell.
What did I tell you? The extreme.
It's the only way to know hell.
He only asked about failing and getting into trouble. You talk about you have to push it all the way to the hells? What kind of mindset is this? Can we talk civilized?
That's the only way to face your fear, is to go there.
Have you been to the hells, Republican?
I believe I've been to the hell many times.
Well, you don't remember, do you?
Well,
if you did remember, you wouldn't say it's okay to go to the hells.
Well, because I'm
if you
here.
Go to the hells, I assure you. The rest of you, normal people. You ever went to the hells? I would bet you say this: I'm out of here. I ain't ever coming back, except for some radicals.
I think that's the reason why I'm sitting here, because I went to the hell.
It talks like Christians. Yes, the spy number 1.
Mô Phật và Thầy, nói là mình chưa tu đó thì mình gặp được những cái khảo, những cái khó khăn, những cái mà mình không có thể tưởng tượng được. Là cái đó là không biết là một cái oan nghiệp của mình. Rồi mình phải đương đầu với nó mới vượt qua những cái giai đoạn đó. Chứ cái đó là cũng rất là ấy, bởi vì nó khổ là phải hèn, rồi khổ đó phải là nhục, khổ đó nó nhiều thứ lắm. Cái đó mình phải đương đầu tất cả mình mới vượt qua, là một cái thứ nhất. Cái thứ nhì đó mà hồi đó thì mình không biết, nó là mình nghèo khổ thì mình phải gắng đương đầu. Mà bây giờ không biết là cái đó là cái quan gia trái chủ của mình phải không? Mình phải đương đầu với những cái quan gia trái chủ đó. Mô Phật.
Hello. Master, when you haven't cultivated yet, there will be a lot of testing. You have to overcome a lot of difficulty that you cannot imagine.
Is that it?
Hello, I'm sorry. So that is karmic obstruction.
I think this mic has some problem. I'm sorry, it's cutting off. So that is the karmic obstruction that you have to overcome. And like when it talk about you feel you feel very bad, and then that's something you have to overcome. But now I have a question, like when it comes to keep cutting off. So the suffering that you deal with, is that because of our karmic retribution, or is that because our past creditors causing it?
Does it matter, you know, where it comes from? Does it matter at all? I mean, you have some problem. Does it matter? Is it from Russia? Is it from China? Is it from Africa? Yeah? Does it matter? She says, absolutely. Don't wait for translation. Yes, Green.
질문, 마스터 말씀에 제가 답을 하는 건데, 그 문제가 어디서부터 왔는지, 러시아에서 왔는지, 아프리카에서 왔는지, 그 문제가 어디서부터 비롯됐는지는 중요하지 않습니다. 그 문제를 내가 수행을 통해서 어떻게 극복하는가가 더 관건인 것 같습니다.
I'm going to mention about what Master said. It is not important where the origination of the problem. I think it's important how to overcome the problem.
Yeah, you have a fire, a forest fire. You're going to say, how did it start? Is it from Peter? Or is it from John? It doesn't matter. You just put out the fire, right? And you worry about who started it later and shoot that person later. Right? Not I'm advocating violence. I only talk. Yes. Green.
마스터, 좀 전에는 저희 마스터 질문에 대한 저희 의견을 말씀드렸고, 지금은 저의 질문입니다. 제 질문은 내가 그 불을 끌 수 없을 것 같다라고 판단이 들었지만 시도하는 게 맞는지, 아니면 좀 더 힘을 기른 후에 그 불을 끄는 게 맞는 건지를 여쭙고 싶습니다.
My first talk was answering your questions, but I have another questions. If I realize that I cannot control that fire, do I still try it, or what should I do?
It's getting harder. Yes, we ignore that for a while. Yes, Orange.
So yeah, Master, I believe that as Buddhists, we have a lot of tools we can use, like the Great Compassion Mantra. We have the chant meditation. We have the Shirangama mantra as well. And if the fire is like really, like out of control, that's why we have the Sangha. As you said, I think it was yesterday, that we can go to someone with a higher level of samadhi, and we can always count on them. So I think there's a lot of options for that.
Very good. Anyone else who'd like to make me sweat further? I knew it. Yeah, old monk.
A Di Đà Phật. Quý vị hỏi nãy giờ là những cái nỗi khổ, những cái khó khăn mà chúng ta thường gặp trước khi tu hoặc là khi chúng ta tu. Thì đó cũng tất cả đều ai cũng vậy thôi. Bởi vậy mới kêu đây là thế giới ta bà. Có dịch đi.
You've been talking about suffering and difficulty that everybody has to face, whether it's before you start cultivating, you are cultivating. This place is called Sangha world.
Thành ra mình phải nói là tại sao tôi có xá lợi nhiều. Tại vì tôi quá khổ đi. Mà tôi gặp Phật Pháp thì nó giải được cái khổ đó, cho nên tôi rất là trọng quý, tôi rất là kính trọng Đức Phật. Kính trọng nó khao khát luôn á. Đi đâu xin xá lợi người ta đuổi. 5-6 năm trời cứ khao khát như vậy mà cho tôi. Do là mình thấy cái thuốc đó mà chữa lành cái bệnh của mình, thì mình kính trọng cái ông thầy thuốc này không chỗ nào nói nổi á. Nếu không có thuốc này là sao? Mình tù tội hoặc mình giết người, hoặc là mình làm những chuyện này chuyện kia mà không bao giờ dứt cái khổ á, thì cái ông thầy thuốc đó là ông Thích Ca Mâu Ni.
So you ask me why I have a lot of sharira. It's because I was suffering so much, and then I it's kind of like I have an illnesses, and then I have a good medicine that cure my illness. So the Buddha is similar like that. I'm so grateful that I encounter the Buddha and help me a lot. Otherwise, you will go into a lot of trouble and maybe end up to stay in the prison or whatever. So the Buddha is the medicine.
Cái khổ đó có thể làm mình ngã qua cần sa ma túy, hoặc là nhậu nhẹt, hoặc bài bạc, hoặc là mình giết người, để mà đương đầu với cái khó khăn của mình đó. Nhưng mà cái giáo lý Đức Phật giúp mình giải tỏa cái đó rất là nhẹ nhàng mà rất là tiến bộ. Đó là tại sao tôi rất là kính trọng Đức Phật.
So the suffering, it can lead you to go into the path of using drug, stealing, killing people or whatever. So when I encounter the Buddha, I know about Buddhism, I am so grateful.
Thì sau khi tôi niệm danh hiệu Phật mỗi đêm 10 tiếng đó, tôi trong tù tôi niệm đó, thì 3 tháng sau Đức Phật cho tôi thấy Ngài rồi. Thì sau đó tự nhiên có người kiếm tôi, đưa cho tôi Kinh Lăng Nghiêm. Học Kinh Lăng Nghiêm xong đưa để cho gặp ông sư ở tù chung, ông dạy cho, rồi học xong rồi đó, Kinh Pháp Hoa tới. Rồi sau đó là Kinh Bát Nhã, Kinh Viên Giác tới. Cũng như quý vị đi học ngày này, phải Đức Phật linh thiêng không? Sắp xếp cho mình học lớp nào. Học trong tù.
So when I was in the prison, every night I would recite 10 times Buddha's name. And then after 3 months, I saw the Buddha. And you know what? After that, suddenly someone gave me the Shurangama Sutra. And then it happened that inside the concentration camp, there was a monk and he taught me. And then after that, I encountered the Flower Sutra, the Prajna Sutra, and the Vinyak Sutra. So you see, like you have to go through different periods. It's similar like when you are in school.
Thì sau khi mà tôi gặp cái Kinh Pháp Hoa rồi đó, thì gặp Phẩm Hữu Môn. Nó mừng đến độ mà ban ngày mà trời bằng sáng nó cũng nóng vậy, không có lạnh. Mà tôi mừng nó đánh một cặp rừng mình dừng không được. Quá mừng cái Pháp nó quá hay, mình mừng mà không có ngưng cái răng đánh một cặp lại được. Nó xúc động đến như vậy.
So when I encountered the Flower Sutra and I read the Phomon is the Universal Door chapter, and you know it's like in the middle of the day it's so hot, but then because I were so emotional, so happy that my body is shaking, like my teeth is beating on each other that I couldn't. It was like we're so happy.
Cái này là để giải quyết cái câu hỏi quý vị nãy giờ đó. Người thì nói là tu bị khảo, người nói tu bị khổ, người tối nu bị cái trouble, bị cản trở. Thì cái câu này Đức Phật nói nó tổng quát hết cho mình nè. Đây là cái thuốc nè. Thì Ngài Vô Tận Ý Bồ Tát hỏi Đức Phật chứ Thế Tôn, tại sao gọi là Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát?
So this is the medicine to answer your question about why you encounter suffering, why you have obstruction or testing challenges or whatever, and the medicine is like in the universal chapter. The Vô Tận Ý Bodhisattva asked why is her name is Kuan Yin Bodhisattva.
Thì Đức Phật mới trả lời thế này nè: giả sử 100.000 vạn ức chúng sanh chịu các khổ não. Tôi lặp lại là giả sử 100.000 vạn ức chúng sanh chịu các khổ não.
So let's imagine that 100,000 living beings endure all kind of suffering.
Thì người đó đó, chúng sanh đó đó, nên thường niệm cung kính danh hiệu Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát.
That being should often, constantly, respectfully recite the name of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva.
Đó là cái thuốc đó. Quý vị
That is
có
the medicine.
mình tin Phật thì mình cứ áp dụng cái thuốc đó đi, uống của ông thầy thuốc đó cho rồi sẽ thấy.
If you believe in the Buddha, if you believe in the doctor, then you just use that medicine. Then you know.
Cái tiếng niệm đó, có người Trung Hoa họ viết rất hay, là cái tâm mình và chữ kim đi chung, là cái tâm mình là ngay bây giờ đó. Cái niệm đó, nó gồm chữ kim là chữ right now và chữ cái tâm của mình. Thì trong cái tâm mình lúc
The character Nian in Buddhism is comprised of your heart, your mind, and the character Chin, which is mean now, right now.
Thì vậy trong tâm mình lúc nào cũng có cái chữ Nam Mô Quán Thế Âm Bồ Tát, Nam Mô Quán Thế Bồ Tát một cách cung kính. Thì cái thuốc nó chữa tất cả cái điều quý vị hỏi đó. Vừa tu mà vừa chịu khổ não luôn.
If your mind constantly recite the name Nam Mô Quan Sư Yin Pusa, Nam Mô Quan Sư Yin Pusa, that is the medicine to cure all of your suffering.
Thì cái thuốc đó nó chữa cho tôi là qua những cái đói khát, những cái căng thẳng, depressed ở trong 5 năm 6 tháng trong tù, không có cơm ăn, không có đủ cái gì hết, và nhớ nhà, nói chung là tất cả. Mà sự nghiệp của tôi giữ gìn đất nước của tôi tiêu tan hết thì tôi phải đi tù nữa. Rồi khi về đó, có nhiều lúc tôi muốn đi giết người á. Thành ra tôi cứ niệm
So, you know, in 5 years, 6 months, I was in the prison. I was endure all kind of suffering. I don't have enough to eat. I miss my family tremendously. I don't have a career. I lose my country. And sometimes, like after I get out of the prison, I was in the state that I cannot bear it. I even want to go kill someone.
Thì những cái đó là ở đây không có kể hết được, nhưng mà cuối cùng có nhiều lúc tôi ra tù, có nhiều ngày tôi không có cơm tôi ăn nữa. Tại vì tôi đâu có nghề nghiệp, ở tù mới ra đâu có ai giúp gì đâu, không có cơm ăn nữa, uống nước lạnh trừ thôi. Mà vẫn không bỏ cái Nam Mô Quan Thế Bồ Tát. Mỗi ngày tôi đọc cái phẩm Bộ Môn.
After I get out of the prison, and you know, there are a lot of days that I don't have any rights to eat because I just get out of the prison. I don't have a job. I don't have anything. So I just only drink water.
Yeah,
but every day I don't give up the name Nam Mô Quan Sư Yin Pusa, and then I continue to recite the Universal Door chapter.
Giờ tôi không tìm được vợ con tôi, có là gia đình tôi tan nát hết. Tôi đi kiếm từ đứa con đem về. Thì như vậy tôi phải đạp xích lô, tôi nuôi tụi nó 5-6 năm trời. Đến độ công an phường rất là ghét người chế độ cũ mà phải đề nghị cho tôi chạy xích lô để tôi nuôi 5 đứa nhỏ. Tại vì cái ngày xích lô người ta rất sợ mình đi đêm đi hôm, mình vô hẻm nha đồ, mình tổ chức phản động rồi người ta rất sợ, nhưng mà họ không cứ tìm nào đường khác, họ phải giúp cho tôi chạy xích lô, tôi nuôi năm đứa nhỏ. Mà trong khi chạy xích lô á, tôi không bỏ Nam Mô A Bồ Tát. Mà khi nào khách hàng bị cái điềm lông y, tôi dạy người ta niệm Nam Mô và vẫn có cái sự phản ứng rất là mầu nhiệm xảy ra cho những khách hàng của tôi.
So, you know, my family was break, and then I had to go and look for each of my children. And then in order to survive, I had to paddle the cyclo. And then for 5-6 years, I go through a lot. You know, like even though like that, I still not give up the name. And then I also show people to continue to recite the names in order to encounter their difficulties, to overcome the difficulty.
Thậm chí mà những cái khách hàng của tôi đó, họ chở đồ mà bị cảnh sát kinh tế bắt, họ lấy coi như mất vốn đó. Tôi dạy họ niệm Nam Mô A Bồ Tát cũng đều mầu nhiệm xảy ra cho họ.
So my customer, when they encountered the police over there and then their products were seized, I taught them to recite Nam Mô Quan世音菩萨, and they are okay.
Thì cứ tiếp tục như vậy mà khi tôi qua Mỹ này 18 năm sau tôi được qua Mỹ này đó, thì tôi không có biết cái gì hết đó. Bắt đầu trở lại đi học từ cái high school lại và từ cái số 0 lại. Rồi sau đó qua đây Bồ Tát Quan Thế Âm giúp cho tôi có việc làm cho chính phủ. Bây giờ tôi hưởng thiện trì thai, rồi tôi đi tu. Giờ khi đi tu đây gặp thầy ở đây cũng là thiện tri thức. Bây giờ thầy dạy cho mình những cái quý vị đang học đó. Hồi nãy anh nào hỏi là gặp khó khăn nào đó, thì chúng ta ở đây có Đại Bi Sám. Sáng sớm chúng ta tụng các công phu khuya, chiều tụng kinh Di Đà, một ngày hôm sau tụng 88 nhật. Đó là pháp môn mầu nhiệm để đưa quý vị đi đến cái giác ngộ, cái giải thoát đó, chứ tìm ở đâu nữa. Còn nếu mà chịu không nổi, nó depressed quá đó, thì cứ cần mẫn, siêng năng, nhẫn nại niệm Nam Mô Quan Thế Bồ Tát thì sẽ qua.
So 18 years later, I have a chance to go to the US, and I have to start from zero. I have to go back to school from high school and go up to college. And after college, Kuan Yin helped me to find a job, and I have a good benefit, retire benefit. Then I cultivate, I encounter Master. He is my good knowing advisor. He taught me. So to answer your question, in order to deal with your difficulty, you have the tools, like for example, the Great Compassion Repentance. You can do morning ceremony, you can recite Amitabha Sutra or 88 Buddha Repentance. Those are the tools for you, the medicine for you. Or if life is too much for you, you can recite Nam Mô Quan世音菩萨.
Thì đến năm 1990 là sau 15 năm tôi ra khỏi tù đó, thì những cái suffering tôi niệm Quán Âm Ngài không giúp nữa. Ngài làm lơ không giúp tôi nữa.
Since 90, which is 15 years after I get out of the prison, then I recite Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, no result at all. Kuan Yin stopped helping me.
Thì sau đó quý vị biết tôi làm sao không? Tôi đưa tay lên, tôi nói tôi thề, tôi không có học với Đức Phật Thích Ca và không có học Bồ Tát Quan Âm nữa. Tôi thề như vậy. Giờ tôi chỉ kiếm một ông tăng già dạy tôi thôi. Tại vì Quan Âm ở đâu xa, bên Tàu ở đâu tôi không biết. Phật Thích Ca bây giờ ở đâu tôi cũng không biết. Bây giờ tôi muốn gặp mấy ông tăng người xàm mắt thịt nè để dạy tôi đi. Tôi không chơi, không học với Quan Âm với Phật Thích Ca nữa. Tôi đưa tay tôi thề như vậy.
So do you know what to do? I put my hand up on the sky, and then I say that I vow that I don't want to study with the Buddha anymore. I don't want to study with Kuan Yin anymore, but I only want to study with a monk because I don't know where is the Buddha, where is Kuan Yin, but I want to see the monk that I can encounter him in person.
Thì quý vị biết sao không? Tôi nói cái đó là hồi 6 giờ PM chiều nè. Thì ngay đêm đó tôi ngủ tôi thấy ông Tăng liền, không có chờ ngày nào hết. Đêm đó ngủ ông Tăng đến, Tăng mặc đồ nâu như vậy nè, tức là Đại Thừa.
So that night, in my dream, I saw a monk appear, and he wear the clothes like that. It means the monk from Mahayana tradition.
Thì bây giờ tôi mới hiểu tại sao mà ông Tăng đến. Là tại vì trong Phẩm Hổ Môn á, mới có nói là Đức Quan Thế Âm hóa thân làm 32 hóa thân. Thì tôi muốn cái hóa thân là một ông Tăng, thì Ngài hiện ông Tăng dạy cái đó là hóa thân Quan Thế Âm chứ không phải là ông Tăng đâu. Bây giờ tôi hiểu ra là Ngài có 32 ứng hóa thân lận.
Now, why I see the monk in my dream? Because in the Universal Door chapter, Kuan Yin has 32 transformation, and because I wish to meet a monk, then Kuan Yin transform into a monk and go into my dream. Kuan Yin Bodhisattva.
Thì Ngài gặp tôi đó, Ngài nói một câu ngắn thôi. Ngài nhìn tôi rất là nghiêm trang mà nói một câu ngắn thôi. Tại sao Kinh Kim Cang Bát Nhã không làm mà cứ kêu, cứ hỏi hoài vậy? Ngài nói như vậy thôi rồi tôi giật mình. Như vậy là chỉ cái giấc mơ, một cái lời dạy ngắn như thôi. Tại sao Kinh Kim Cang Bát Nhã không làm, đi hỏi.
And he appeared very adorned. He say very quick to me, very short sentence. Why don't you follow the Vajra Sutra and Heart Sutra? Why do you keep asking?
Thì khi tôi thức dậy tôi không có biết cái ý nghĩa là gì, mà sau 30 năm á thì bây giờ tôi mới hiểu ra cái bài Heart Sutra đó, cái câu đầu tiên introduction sentence đó, quán tự tại, hành thâm, chiếu kiến, ngũ uẩn giai không, độ nhất thiết hết. Khi quý vị thấy five skandha empty rồi qua hết tất cả khổ nạn, đừng có kêu tao.
And in the Heart Sutra, the first sentence, it say that Kuan Yin Bodhisattva practicing the profound prajna Dharma, and then he illuminate and understand that the five skandhas are empty. So you just need to look into it and see the emptiness.
Thì cuối cái bài này là của Ngài Huyền Trang, dịch có 270 mấy chữ thôi. Bộ kinh này Đức Phật giảng 22 năm, nhưng Ngài Huyền Trang rút lại còn có 270 mấy chữ, quý vị tụng mỗi ngày công phu đó. Thì cái câu kết luận conclusion nói cái gì? 3 đời chư Phật y cái quán chiếu này mà đắc thành Phật, chứ không có bí mật nào đó đâu. Tam thế chư Phật.
The Prajna Sutra, the Buddha spent 22 years to teach, and then Master Xuan Jiang, he shortened it to this short sutra. It's only 270 something character. And at the end, in the conclusion, it says that the Buddhas of the 3 periods of time rely on the prajna paramita to attain the Buddhahood.
Thì bây giờ tóm tắt lại đó, những cái điều quý vị quan tâm đó là tôi cũng đã từng trải qua như vậy. Thì đó là cái thuốc tôi uống đó. Đầu tiên là quý vị tin tưởng Đức Phật Thích Ca không nói dối mình. Thì thường niệm cung kính danh hiệu Bồ Tát Quan Thế Âm. Thì chẳng những cái đạo mà cái đời quý vị làm sao sống, vợ con quý vị làm sao sống, làm sao thì Ngài sắp xếp hết. Ngài không có, quý vị không có lo là mình có tin và có làm hay không. Rồi từ đó Ngài sắp xếp cho quý vị tu thế nào để cho Ngài lo. Mà mình phải phấn đấu, phải tinh tấn, rồi sẽ đưa một ngày nào đó gặp thiện tri thức để mà dạy mình tiếp bằng hình thức nào đó.
So whatever difficulty you encounter, I also went through it. And you just need to constantly recite Kuan Yin Buddha's name respectfully, and then your life will be well taken care of. The Buddha, the Bodhisattva will arrange everything for you, will take care of everything for you. The most important thing is whether you believe or not in order to recite the name.
Đó là cái tôi nghe quý vị hỏi nãy giờ giống tôi hồi xưa, cho nên tôi có cái chia sẻ kinh nghiệm như vậy. Xin hết.
so that's my experience that I would like to share with you. Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you very much. So in summary, what did he say? If that's the case, it's how interesting what he went through. His life has so many hardships, and he pulled through because of when he was in trouble, he recited Wanyin Bodhisattva's name. Okay, and so it gave me an idea. I'm going to send him to Russia pretty soon. Yes, sir. Orange. AC, I think we lost Korea. They had a question. But
all right. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Sangha. Really appreciate that enriching wisdom. I want to share what helps me get through difficulties. Oftentimes, I think before this, before I got into Buddhism, I thought of my mind and my body as a piece of metal, where my karmic obstructions would hit it and create a crease in it. And I would try to adjust again, but the crease would always stay. And even if I really tried to maneuver it around, it created a break that was making an inconsistent piece of metal. And with Buddhism, I have found that in my meditations, I can stop being the metal and dissolve it and reform to something stronger and more secure in moving forward in the future. And even though karmic instructions do come along and bend me again, I know that if I take refuge in the Buddha, Sangha, and a good knowing advisor, I can go ahead and reform myself into a space that doesn't have any bends.
very good. Short and sweet. Korea. Black.
감사합니다. 저는 아주 초심자입니다. 불교에 입문한 지 얼마 되지 않았는데요. 아까 수행을 하면서 여러 번 실패할 때 그 실패의 두려움을 방지하기 위해서 어떤 대비책이 안전장치가 있어야 될 것인지 질문하신 그 물음을 듣고 제 생각은 마스터께 대한 믿음 그리고 마스터를 떠나지 않기만 하면 그것이 안전장치가 아닐까 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 어린 아이가 성장할 때 좋은 부모는 그 아이가 실패하더라도 항상 보호해주고 지도를 해주는 것과 꼭 같이 마스터께서 저희들을 잘 인도해 주시고 보호해 주실 거라는 그 믿음만 있으면 충분하지 않을까 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 감사합니다.
Hello, I'm a beginner. I didn't start it to cultivate that long ago. I remember the question about during the cultivation, you fail and then you start to feel the fear and how to prevent it and how to find a safety net. I have an idea for that. I believe the important thing is believing Master. Stay with him as if you're a little child and the parents caring for the child. No matter what, the parents will care and lead the child. The same way, if you believe in Master, will be the same way the child and the parent relationship.
Oh, you done? Excuse me. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Uh-oh, manic person.
실패는 성공의 어머니라는 말씀이 있습니다. 말이 있습니다. 실패 속에는 우리가 배울 수 있는 많은 것들이 있다고 생각합니다. 실패를 통해서 실패하게 된 원인과 문제가 무엇인지 볼 수 있고, 그 실패하는 문제와 원인을 이렇게 다른 사람 탓을 하거나 변명을 하거나 이유를 대지 않고 그 문제를 바로 직면할 수 있고, 그 문제가 나로 인해서 비롯된 것이라면 그 자신의 문제를 피하지 않고 그 문제를 해결하고자 한다면 변명하지 않고 다른 사람 탓하지 않고 내가 그 나의 실수 잘못 등에 대해서 진실로 참회하고자 하는 그런 마음을 갖게 되고 실제로 참회를 하게 되면 문제가 해결이 된다라는 생각입니다. 그리고 훌륭한 스승은 그 다른 사람들이 잘못을 했을 때 비난하거나 탓하지 않고 적절한 때에 적절한 조언을 해서 그 문제를 바로 볼 수 있게 해주고, 그 다음에 그 상황에서 벗어날 수 있는 격려를 해주는 스승이 참된 스승이라고 생각합니다.
I believe a failure is the mother of success. While you're failing, you will learn many things. When you face the failure, you got to remember what is the problem, what's the cause, and it's important not to blame others. And face the problem, and then think the cause came from myself, and don't avoid the problem. Do not say an excuse and try to resolve it. Do not blame others. See the failure as my mistake. You need to repent with an honest mind. Then the problem will be resolved. The great teacher will see the mistake, and great teacher will see someone making mistake. They don't slander or complain to that person. They wait for the right time and try to help this person and encourage the person to get out of the problem.
You know, she came here like 2 months ago, and this is the most she said. What did you have for lunch?
김밥 먹었습니다. 제가 부처님 법을 배우기 전에 카톨릭 신자였습니다. 저는 부처님 법을 이렇게 배우기 시작한 게 한 5, 6년 전부터 부처님 법을 이렇게 공부하기 시작했는데, 그 전에는 카톨릭 신자였고, 카톨릭 성당에 다닐 때 제가 잘못한 것에 대해서 어떠한 변명과 이유를 대지 않고 핑계대지 않고 있는 그대로 내 자신을 바라볼 수 있기를, 그래서 그 제 모습 있는 그대로 제가 이렇게 스스로 받아들일 수 있기를 간절히 원하는 기도를 많이 했습니다. 그리고 실패를 두려워하지 않고 그 실패를 극복하고자 하는 그 마음을 포기하지 않고 계속 한다면 그 실패는 반드시 극복되어서 그 문제점이 완전히 사라지리라고 믿고 있습니다. 이상입니다.
before I learned about Buddhism, I was Catholic, and I was there for about 6 years before I learned the Buddhism. I was a Catholic, and I believe that on any fault, I should not blame anyone or not even raise any excuses. And you have to be able to see through yourself and realize the way I am, and I need to accept myself. And also, do not fear the failure. Need to be overcome, and don't give up. And if you continue to do that, eventually, for sure, all the problem will disappear.
Okay, very good. Anyone else would like to share a word of wisdom? Excellent. White and entitled.
Thank you for the privilege, Master. I don't know that it's wisdom, but it's my experience. So from a strictly Buddhist perspective on a safety net before you jump, number one, I very much agree with you. The Sangha is a very powerful safety net. I recommend cultivating a relationship with the Sangha early and often. Number two, your own personal belief. I very much agree with the old monk. When the Sangha isn't there, and it's just you and no one else, you have yourself to count on. Number three, I highly recommend the Pure Land, or the Rebirth plaque, as a practical safety net when your belief and your cultivation is strong enough to motivate you to pursue that. And then the last one is, if you're someone like Warren Buffett who's only paid 0.01% of your taxes over the last 30 years, and you have $250 billion, or you're a regular person who's paid 14% in taxes every year, either way, leave 10% behind for the triple jewel and put some skin in the game so someone comes to get you if you fall. Thank you, Master.
Amen. Anyone else? You're so cool. I mean, you have so much wisdom. What am I doing here? I sit there, I wonder, what am I doing here? They don't need me anymore. I can go to Russia with the old monk. Yes, Malcolm. White.
Master, you know how I know these are just words, but greed, anger, and stupidity are the poisons of the mind. But are worry and self-doubt more afflictions, or are they related to like a poison in your mind?
I mean, the question is doubt another poison to your mind?
Yeah, I mean, is like worry and self-doubt, stuff like that, is I know that's bad for your mind, but is it same, is it really bad, like a poison?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I'm so pleased. I'm tickled pink because you speak Dharma so well, all of you. Yeah, I hope that our Swiss visitors are impressed. You see, I sit here for half an hour. Didn't have to say anything. And it's still interesting. It's so cool. Go on, go on. We only have 25 more minutes. I'm trying to think of something nice, but I can't. Green.
25분밖에 안 남으셨다고 해서 질문 다시 드립니다. 수행을 하거나 기도를 하고 난 후에 화가 수행이나 기도에 도움이 안 되는 거를 알고 있는데 화가 날 만한 사람이나 상황이 눈에 보였는데 그것에 직면해서 내 수행을 점검하는 게 현명한 건지 아니면 그 상황을 회피해야 되는 것이 맞았는지를, 그러니까 수행이나 기도한 것을 지키기 위해서 회피해야 된 것이 맞았는지를 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
Since you mentioned that there's 25 minutes left, I have a question.
Oh no.
About the cultivation, and it's related about the anger. When you realize during the cultivation and you see the anger and you want to get rid of the anger, so do you face the situation and the anger, or do you need to avoid the anger? What would be the best way to cultivate?
Maya Princess, I'm sure you have the solution. What to do about anger? When you're angry, what do you do? Green.
Well, I would say would just be to sit down and breathe.
Breathe.
To cross your legs, clear your mind.
Cross your legs. Mm-hmm.
Clear your mind and just breathe.
See, Princess knows what to do. Okay, very good. Anyone else? Huh? Excellent. Yes, White.
Thank you, Master. I've been thinking about puppy dogs because compassion cures all poison, and when I get really angry, and then I think about like little cute husky puppies or border collar puppies, I can't be angry anymore. So that helps me a lot.
I'm still processing it. Green.
일단은 설거지를 해서 서서 있는 상황이라서 결과부자를 할 수 있는 상황이 아니었고, 두 번째는 강아지도 없었고 절에 있었기 때문에 제가 질문하는 포인트는 내가 수행이나 기도한 것을 지키기 위해서 화가 날 만한 상황이 뻔히 눈에 보이는데도 그 상황을 피했어야 됐는지, 아니면 그 수행이나 명상한 것에 대한 것을 지키기 위해서 확인하기 위해서, 체크하기 위해서 부딪혔어야 되는지가 제 질문의 포인트입니다. 어쨌든 두 분 말씀은 감사합니다.
설거지를 하고 있었는데. Oh. Okay. So after cultivating or praying is done, I see a situation that I will face anger. Should I avoid that situation, or should I face the situations straight ahead?
We referring to anger towards anyone in particular?
이미 제 안에 화가 있었고, 그 제 화를 증명하기 위해서 화날 만한 상황이 돌아가면서 사람들이 돌아갔기 때문에 그 제 화의 근원은 각각의 사람들이 있지 않고 제 안에 있습니다.
화의 근원은? Okay. So I realized that anger is actually inside of me, and the cause of anger is inside, but the people in outside will triggers me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very accurate description of herself. Okay, very good. Q&A has the answer, clearly.
Hello, Master.
Oh no, another angry person. Go on.
When you're angry, we have a master here. Just call master. That's master calling you. And
That would make me very angry. It's called master abuse.
we miss master.
Yes, green. We cut him off because this guy, he has other ideas.
Master, I anger inside of me.
Oh no, you too. Another person.
Prior coming to you, she said it well and described it so well that was also something that I was experiencing before.
Yeah.
Before I met you.
So
with you, I was able to, because you helped me to identify something. I don't know what it was, but you made me aware that my anger was creating many offenses around me, maybe, or I was creating too many offenses.
No. I was trying to tell you that you were scaring your husband. You were frightening him.
No.
Well, women are scary.
Well, maybe it
Poor
is.
man.
It might be that might be true, but he doesn't seem to be right.
Yeah, he's a macho man. He's not gonna admit it. Okay, and go on. Let's not get.
So one of the things that you need to identify is to see how the other person was, the person that I was feeling anger against. You taught me to identify first how that person might be feeling, why that person is angry also against me, or for any reason there is an anger arising in that person. You taught me to identify and kind of think about how that person was feeling, so you stop your reaction of anger, and instead of that, compassion will arise. There is something that has helped me to stop anger, and just like Sabina does, I just have to go away a little bit. That's part of just getting it off.
Okay, very good. I meant your poor husband, not just anyone. Did you have a comment, ma'am? White.
So our emotions are things that, any sort of thing that triggers us. So anger is, if we look at that, it's an opportunity to look at what needs healed within us. So if we're getting angry, that person that has made us angry or a situation is actually a gift. And if we look at it as a gift and see the gift in the situation and then look at what we need to heal, that then becomes an opportunity. And a way to not be so angry is to neutralize the situation, look at the positives, look at the negatives, and then just see it from the Buddhist bird's eye view, and then see, and really just look at the gift.
Are you Buddhist?
I mean,
You're not? Okay.
I'm not fully Buddhist, but I do intuitive work. So I believe in a higher power, and I've studied Buddhism.
I see. Okay, very good.
And so
Excellent, very good. Orange.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. No, something that really helped me a lot too. It was in while the last chanchi. I remember the master was always speaking about the do nothing. That's always something that I keep in my mind. So everything that, like every time I'm having those feelings, I kind of like control myself, and like the breathing, and I do nothing, and I see those thoughts arising. And when I see those thoughts arising, I become aware of those thoughts, so I can see
thoughts of anger in particular.
Yeah, so I can see what part of that, like that person is doing, it's triggering that in me, so I can fix myself, and then I can see what happened.
Excellent. Very, very good. And he only started meditating like recently only, seriously. He's a disciple of Papa Xienan in Korea. But she ran away, so very good. Impressive. Very good. Yes, White.
I think in my case, is being angry is thinking too much. And now I've been starving for 3 days. And I can see I just don't have the energy to care that much anymore.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Mm-hmm.
So that calms me down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stop eating. That's the answer. Oh, there's many more comments. This is so cool. I want to coast the rest of the time. Yes, White.
Master, I have a question about something different. I used to live with this psychic hippie person, and she used to sage the apartment with sage, smoke to cleanse the apartment and get rid of demons. Does that get rid of demons, or is there some way to cleanse your apartment?
Okay, very good. The answer is door number 2.
Thank you, Master. I really like the description of the psychic hippie person. I can identify with that.
Anyway, yes?
My experience with sage is it works, but not as much as meditation. But I wanted to give a shout out to a member of the Sangha, Jongin Sunim, 안녕하세요, who helped me with my anger on 2 occasions. The first occasion was when he first came to America, and he told me he liked the show Breaking Bad, especially a character named Jesse, who would say, "Sup, yo?" And so he bowed to me and said, "Sup, yo?" And whenever I get mad and I think about that, I can't be mad anymore.
Sup, yo?
It's like it's an American slang, Master. You would say, "What's up?" But then for those of us who are are more into the brevity, we just take out the what and say sup. And then yo is, again, slang for like you, but we drop the U letter at the end. So it's a sup yo. But then with the Korean accent, it really is
sup yo.
Sup yo.
Sup yo, I see. My friend uses sup.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. That's the same thing.
Okay, so that's why I couldn't recognize the accent.
The other instance though where Jonghyun Sunim helped me with my anger tremendously was my wife and I were walking out of Way Mountain Temple one night on our way to our car, and Jonghyun Sunim said 안녕하세요, and we're like, oh yeah, 안녕하세요, and then and he was with a little Jindoke puppy, the Jindoke puppy. It's a Korean puppy that if you haven't seen it, it just bounces around. It was so happy just to be around people, and he was so happy being there, and just being in that presence cured me of any anger I had again. So 2 instances I just wanted to say.
What happened in that puppy?
Oh yeah, that puppy lives on my phone in a picture forever in perfect puppiness, so I can think about it that way. Never grows up. Yeah, it's always so cute.
I see. Oh, another imaginary friend like Maya Princess. You still talk to your imaginary friend, invisible friend? Not anymore? You parted companies? Oh, good Lord. Okay, anyone else? He's so cool. Huh? Okay, there's so much. I'm so pleased because for the first time that I could listen to the old monk for 15 minutes. He actually makes sense. It's amazing. I'm so pleased. Okay? That's why I'm thinking of sending him to Russia. He doesn't need me anymore. Before I said, let's cut it short. 4 sentences, 5 sentences, no more. Now you listen to him, well, actually there's a story, and there is, there is twists and turns, and, and there's heartbreaks, and there's excitement, happy, it's just like fantastic. He makes sense the whole time. Impressive, because he improved recently. Yeah, before he would speak Dharma and he would get lost. Now he has a message, and he sticks to the message. That's impressive. Good job. Keep fasting. All right, very good. So the answer to the question, what do I do with the anger? Well, another question is, I'm sure the original question is, should I take precautions and not go overboard to make sure I don't get into trouble? And somehow I got into a lot of stories, and that's still the question that basically also wants an answer from me, is what do I do with my anger, right? And plenty of good answers already. You really don't need my answers at all. But if I'm forced to give you an answer, okay? Intellectually, logically, it makes sense to make sure that we don't go overboard, okay? There's some moderation somewhere, okay? So that we don't overdo it and can't and get into trouble. That's reasonable, okay? However, in the matters in the realms of spiritual pursuits, that is meditation, okay, or the acquiring of wisdom, okay, then it's not, in Mahayana, we don't recommend that you have to worry about moderation at all, okay, because as said earlier from the scary novice nun, failure is a mother of success. Okay? Yeah. So you can qualify by saying that greater failure is a mother of greater misery. A success. Okay? So don't be afraid. Okay? There's no need to be afraid. Okay? You should let go of that worry, that doubt. The question also had about doubt. Is doubt an affliction? Doubt is a problem? Okay? Doubt is a problem. Fear of failure is a problem, but particular doubts is a problem when it comes down to spiritual pursuits, especially doubts about the good no advisor, doubt about the Dharma. Okay, those are obstructions to your unfolding of your wisdom. You encounter those gates where you say, "I don't know. This is more than reasonable. This is extreme. This is illogical. Okay? This doesn't make sense to me. Okay? And not only your precautions, but all the information came to your head and say, but this guy, he has a bad reputation, and and all the negative reasons come to your head, to your mind, and will cause a lot of problems for you. That to inhibit your opening of your wisdom. Beware of that. It's a very tough test. Okay? But many of you have been able to cross beyond that and overcome that doubt. Okay? And it takes that kind of tests that if you have doubts, it will prevent you from, and the doubt is justified by you're going to get hurt, this is unreasonable, and so forth. Okay, so that's why, as part of your growth. Okay, your opening wisdom. Okay, only occurs when you're able to face and overcome your doubt about the Dharma, your doubt about the good knowing advisor. You all have to face it at some point in time. Juesian faced it and he passed. Okay? Some of you are facing that right now, and you probably won't make it. Tough luck. Then no, you're not going to open your wisdom. Tough luck. Take the test again. Okay? That's just life. But in the spirit of growth, in the spirit of self-improvement, you should not be afraid of failure. You should not be afraid to go beyond your abilities, go beyond what's reasonable, okay? Because that's what you need to do in order to transcend your limitations, your limited mind. Your mind only becomes unlimited because you need to free it from your preoccupations about your own well-being, about your own welfare, about your own benefit. Okay, that's what worldly people do. That's why they're called worldly, and because they are attached to worldly benefits. Because worldly benefits, if you let them create doubt in your mind, you will not open your wisdom. Okay? Even if you are able to overcome it, overcome your doubt, it's still is only part. It will help you open a little bit more wisdom. So the road has many twists and turns that, like the old monk says, he went through many challenges himself, in impossible situations, and the one thing he shared with you should take to heart, because it's from his own life experience. Okay, that is, there's higher level beings besides God. Okay, is Daniel here? Okay, there are higher beings that you should be aware of, that you should ask for help. Remember to ask for help in your worst situation, in the impossible situation. Okay, then they're available to help. Like Wanyin Bodhisattva, if you are in trouble, you in pain, you in suffering, you call her name and she'll come. You keep on calling her name and she will come for sure. Don't quit on her. Keep on calling and calling and calling. She'll come. Okay? One form or the other to give you relief, to save you, to help you in your times of trouble. That's a fact. Okay? There's many more beings out there. Okay? If God works for you, by all means, use God. Okay? I have nothing against it. If Mother Mary works for you, use it. Allah works for you, definitely. Okay? Go for it. Okay? But if when you try those means and it's still not helpful, then try the others. Don't be too narrow-minded. Okay, you should try them all. Okay, and for us Buddhists, it's from experiences like this, from that old monk right there, that he didn't fill in many details about his extreme difficulties and hardships and sufferings. Okay, but the constant for him, the being that was with him all these years, all this time, has always been Wanyin Bodhisattva. Okay, it's real to him. All right? Yes, sir. Is there a question, comment here? Yeah, my monk is in Samadhi, so.
Thank you, Master. Something I've been noticed and realized with the time is that these higher beings, they know better, and they always are going to give us what we need, not what we want. Because sometimes, for me especially, sometimes I want something, but that something is not the best for me at that moment. And I pray to Kwanjin Bodhisattva as well, and to Sakyamuni Buddha, and they always give me what I need in that moment, not what I want. So, thank you, Master.
Excellent. Words of wisdom right there. Okay? They will help you. Okay? Absolutely. But quite often, it may not be what you want. Because what you want is not necessarily good for you. That's why they help you. Okay? They will help you. You can rest assured they will help you. Okay? That's the magic of wisdom. Wisdom is to help you overcome your troubles and your difficulties, but in order to benefit you. Okay, not to help you in order to harm you or make you regress. Okay, for example, you're in pain, and we could easily give you some something to smoke. Okay, that would help tremendously, I imagine. But it's not necessarily good for you. Okay? There is a hole in the back.
Oh, Master, I thought Medicine Master Buddha would give you what you want.
In theory, yes. Okay? So the point I'd like to add is that this particular person who asked about worrying about, there should be moderation because Buddhism advocates moderation and so forth. Okay, there's something called moderation. And the Buddhist teaching is that use moderation. Okay, in order to open your wisdom. In particular, in this case here, I I don't feel that moderation applies here because I'm more interested in freeing his mind from being calculating, being afraid, free him from fear, okay? And that's important because in Mahayana, the objective, why we're doing this, why I'm doing this is to help your mind become limitless. Okay, so if you are cautious and afraid to get hurt or exercise caution and moderation, it is in the way of your reaching your potential. Okay, and like the comment from Korea, she says, trust your good new advisor. Okay, and that is if you're doing the spiritual practices, okay, if the instructions come from a good new advisor, okay, you can trust those instructions, okay, in spite of your doubts. That's a test. Okay? So don't be afraid. In particular, in that to sort of tell you to separate two things for you in order to pacify your mind, is that in our world, okay, we work for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas like Kumarajiva, like Xueqian here. They're working for them, okay? They're working and helping, making the great Mahayana principles become available to the Chinese to help the Chinese. Okay? So they're working for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And that's the basis for our fearlessness. We're not afraid of anything because we're on the right side. We're not harming anyone. We're not stealing from anyone. We're not trying to scheme for ourselves. All we're trying to do is try to benefit people and living beings so that they're on the right side of the equation. And because of that, I personally believe that if I do serve them, they will help guide me one way or the other. I have nothing to fear. Okay? Because whatever seems to be impossible, whatever seems to be so difficult, so unreasonable, okay, is actually going to help me release my fear and my doubts. Okay? So we're not as blind you think, because when you have a cause, when you are on the good side, and you know that you're doing the great things, you are serving these great beings, okay? When the Chinese talk about, Chinese master says, you propagate Buddhism, it's a Chinese way of saying that we are serving the great Buddhas and great Bodhisattvas who by making their teachings, by making their tools available to everyone else who can also benefit from them, as millions of billions of people have in a history of Buddhism throughout the universe. Okay? So we're on the right side, and you have nothing to fear. That's the difference. Okay? If you work for the right cause, you have nothing to fear, because you choose who you choose to work for makes a difference. Okay? For worldly people, you choose to work for yourself fundamentally. Okay? Then it's reasonable for me to exercise caution. So I don't want you to say, I shouldn't be afraid, I shouldn't have any doubt. You definitely should if you're working for yourself. Anything else, honey? What else would you like to say? Okay. Did we resolve the question? There's so many different angles. It's so rich of a Dharma right there. I think we addressed it, right? Finally, there's a matter of anger. Okay? What to do with anger? Anger is inevitable. We're going to get angry regardless who you are. Okay? So anger is an emotion that's part of our existence. So it's something that we continually have to learn to deal better. Okay? So every time we are angry and do something stupid, okay, it's a failure that should be a learning experience for you. Okay? That will help you grow. Okay? So that next time you learn, next level is that when you get angry, and instead of, don't talk to me, don't look at me, stay away from me. Okay? That's a form of anger as well. Okay? That translates into the mouth karma. Stay away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Here, some food. Eat it. You know, that's anger right there. Okay? Remember, when you're that angry, you are poisoning yourself. Your heart is full of poison. You're not hurting anyone. You're only hurting yourself. You have no wisdom whatsoever. Yes, you can tell me I should be compassionate and so on, but that's too advanced for me. Okay, let me tell you, anger will destroy you physically. Okay? You better recognize it. The sooner you recognize it, the healthier you become. Okay? When you get to be as old as I am, or that old monk, you know, a year and a half ago, we had an old nun who stayed here at the temple, and he was here too. The old monk was here too. And I heard reports of the old monk and the old nun yelling at each other, arguing and getting angry at each other. Okay? To the point where the old nun says, I can't fix this anymore. My poor heart. I can't fix this anymore. And this guy, he keeps on getting angry at people. And later I tried to tell him that you are manic, watch out for your anger. Same thing I'm telling you. When I tell you you're manic, you should remember that one of the coarsest forms of being manic, in particular the two of you from Korea, you're so manic that you often get angry. Okay? Recognize that someone said, I have this anger inside of me. Okay? I have this anger. It's burning inside of me, waiting for the chance to explode. Yes? Okay? That's manic behavior, by the way. Okay? Same thing with him. You look at his face, this anger burning already, waiting to explode. Okay? That's manic behavior. Recognize it. It's not you. Okay? Okay? So then next line I like you all to learn tonight is to stop being a victim. Okay? Don't let them pull your strings. Yes, it's there. The anger is burning right there, but do not fall for it. Recognize that they're pulling your strings, that's all. It's not you. Okay? And they're so coarse. They want you to yell at someone, they want you to get angry at someone, okay? And do something stupid, okay? Yeah. It's not you. You're much better than that, I assure you. Okay? So if you fall prey for that, you simply are the victims. Okay? It's not that hard. Just like we said earlier from this side of the room, I think. Recognize it and don't do anything. Okay? Recognize the anger instead of bursting out. Okay? Spitting it out. Just don't do anything. Go meditate, do something, and it will go away by itself. Don't feed it. Don't add fuel to the fire. Okay? Then eventually they leave. Eventually they say, "Oh, you're no fun. I'm out of here. I'm going to bother Goyin or something." Okay? Make her get angry at someone else. All right? So if you're like that, then the anger is actually helping you open your wisdom. Okay? At our temple, I'm not afraid of you losing your temper and yelling at someone. Okay? It's perfectly okay. Then we teach you how to deal with it. Okay? It's not a problem. And if the abbot from Korea is not confrontational enough and explain to you things, sit down, can we talk? Then you can always fly to Lu Mountain Temple. All right? Anything else that we didn't address tonight? Do we have time? Give him a microphone, please.
Một cái kinh nghiệm thực tế ở cái chùa này nè. Cách đây khoảng 3 năm á, thầy đưa cho tôi một lá thơ, thầy trụ trì nè. Là anh này ở tù ở trong cái State Prison ở phía cách đây 2 tiếng đồng hồ lái xe. Anh nói là I need help. Thì thầy đưa lá thơ cho tôi, thầy biểu trả lời đi. Thì tôi không biết anh này ở tù bao lâu, nhưng mà khi tôi trả lời tôi nói là bây giờ you forget hết mọi chuyện đi. Bám chặt cái tiếng Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật. Nó sẽ giải quyết hết cho you đó. Đó là kinh nghiệm của tôi. Thì khi nào có dịp tôi thăm you. Thì 6 tháng sau anh gửi cho tôi cái form để tôi điền vô để cho FBI cho tôi thăm ông ấy. Thì cô Nhẫn mới đi theo lái xe cho tôi. Đi cách đây xuống đó 2 tiếng, đi về 2 tiếng. Thì vô gặp ổng đó. Ông chờ lúc cô Nhẫn đi mua đồ ăn đó. Ông ôm tôi, ông nói I want to be your student. I'm so happy now. Nam Mô Amitabha, so wonderful. Cái tôi mới nói thôi rồi Du ráng vô tù thêm đi, rồi đủ ngày Du ra thì tôi giới thiệu Du gặp thầy Vĩnh Hóa làm student thầy Vĩnh Hóa chứ không phải student của tôi đâu. Thì ổng mới cho tôi phép tôi nói ổng là tên là John Morris, băng đảng của Los Angeles này nè. Mà khi tôi vô thăm ổng ở tù 31 năm rồi. Mà phải chờ 3 năm nữa mới được là cứu xét để probation. Quý vị thấy cái stress của quý vị bằng cái ông này 31 năm trong tù không? Mà ông chỉ niệm Nam Mô Amitabha thôi. Ông nói người happy kinh khủng luôn. Ông ôm tôi, ông chờ cô Nhẫn vừa quay lưng để mua nước uống là ông ôm tôi, ông nói I want to be your student. I'm so happy. Với Nam Mô Amitabha thôi. Bữa nay có thể là 34 năm mà tôi chưa có rảnh để thăm ổng lần thứ hai. Một ông nữa bây giờ cũng thầy đưa cho tôi một cái lá thơ khác. Là anh này ở trên cái tù Red Prison ở miền Bắc, nó cách đây khoảng 8 tiếng đồng hồ lái xe. Ở gần Reno á. Thì ảnh nói ảnh đang tụng kinh A Di Đà và kinh Kim Cang. I need help. Mà hổm lại tôi cũng chưa có rảnh trả lời, mà nếu anh này cũng có dịp tôi sẽ thăm một lần nữa. Thưa quý vị thấy cái stress, cái lo lắng mà của quý vị đâu có một góc nào hai cái người tù này 31 năm trong tù, nó thiếu thốn đủ thứ chuyện hết. Mà người ta còn qua được với cái tiếng Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật. Đơn giản vậy thôi. Tôi xin hết.
That's all.
I would like to share with you another experience. That 3 years ago, the letter sent from a state prison. This guy would stay there in the prison like 2 hours away from here. And then in the letter, he said that I need help. And then Master gave me the letter, say reply to him. When I wrote to him, I say that you forget about everything. Just focus on recite Nam Mô Emitofuo. And 6 months later, he sent me a visiting form, and then we fill out the form. And then one time, Venerable Shinran and I went to visit him, and then we sit and talk, and then he wait until Venerable Shinran go get food for us. Then he hugged me, and then he confessed that, you know what, I am so happy, I'm extremely happy by reciting Nam Mô Emitofuo, that I'm so happy, I want to be your student. And then I say, you know what, just wait until the day that you get out of the prison. I will introduce you to my master, Master YongHua, and then it's much better that you become his student. So his name is John Morris. He used to be a gangster in LA. He's been in the prison for 31 years, and then he will have to stay there for another 3 years in order to get probation or something. And then the fact that he told me that just reciting Nam Mô Emitofuo, and then there's another guy that's also in a state prison, which is 8 hours away from here, close to Reno. And then he said that he recite Amitabha Sutra, he recite Vajra Sutra, and then he also say that I need help. But then I haven't really had time to reply to this guy yet. But in general, if you compare whatever you went through with this prisoner who has been in the prison for 30 plus years, you know, life in prison is not pleasant at all. But for them, he only used the name Nam Mô Emitofuo, and he can overcome all of the difficulty. That's it. Thank you.
Good story. YouTube has a question.
Hayan asks, even though I cannot make it this lifetime, I get a seed for being enlightened. So I don't need to be greedy for the results. I just keep looking forward to the next step. Is this too lazy, Master?
I don't know. Should we call him lazy or should we call him reasonable? Huh? Whatever works for him, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you can't force it. If he feels that there's no need to practice, then don't practice. It's no big deal. Yeah? But in Buddhism, there's a small wisdom where it says that for you to encounter the Mahayana again, next body, is very unlikely, extremely unlikely. So the assumption that you'll be able to encounter it again is misguided. Okay, and in particular, it's ignorant, because if you happen to fall to a lower realms like the hells, become an animal or become a hungry ghost, you'll be very sorry that you made a mistake of not of avoiding that kind of fate for yourself. After you encounter Buddhism and you still let it happen to you, it's very unfortunate. Okay, meaning that you didn't get much out of Buddhism at all. Okay, yes. So there's some assumptions there that are questionable, if you will. Okay, there's no sense of urgency, which is contrary to the Buddhist teaching. All right. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Orange.
Master, the souls that go to the heavenly realms, can they cultivate the same way as we humans do, or no?
If you happen to be born to the heavens, you won't be able to practice the way we do. Why not? The one nice thing about our world that to me is far better than the heavens is the fact that we suffer. We have suffering. We suffer from sickness. We suffer from heartaches. We suffer from anger. We suffer from rejection. We suffer from poverty. I'm too depressed. I don't feel like talking anymore. Okay, so because of those sufferings, okay, then that's why most of us would choose to do something about it. We fought, okay, and if you decide to fight for yourself, you fight for your sickness, you fight for your misery, you fight for your fear, you fight for your anger, then Buddhism has plenty of solutions for you. But if you don't want to fight, if you want to, okay, let me continue to be a victim. What's the matter? I'm rich, I'm comfortable, I'm happy. Then you don't need to do anything. Absolutely. Yeah. For most of us who are also like you, who are happy, have a good job, have a loving wife, but we also realize that while we're alive, it can be better in order to be more service to others. Okay, some of us also are aware that this is an opportunity that's very hard to come by. That's why we're here. We have this chance to learn about these things. Let's put them to use and make the best of it, okay? And continue to improve. And that's a weakness in that argument. In the future, I encounter again, okay? I would have a problem, because when are you going to encounter again? That's my immediate question. Okay? And there's no guarantee that you will be able to encounter it quickly enough. So there's a sense of self-complacency that is unwise, if you will. Okay, you turn a blind eye on this person here. Turns a blind eye on the fact his body is getting sicker, getting weaker. Okay, and he's turning a blind eye on the fact that if your life is only about pleasing yourself, indulging yourself, and satisfying your own desires, then your life is really meaningless. You will find that out when you get older. You realize that my life has been vain. I did nothing but indulge in myself. It's a total waste. Okay? That other people helped you out and gave to you, and all you did is, I will indulge myself, take care of myself, and that's it. If you have the kind of mindset, it's pitiful. You will not know happiness. You will not know anything. You will not be able to do anything important in this life at all. Okay? All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Now we went overboard anyway. What's the sense in moderation anymore? Let's continue. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night.